Hello, welcome back to Steve's Retro Loft. It's another Flight Sim episode. It's the part 4, I believe, of my Flight Simulator journey. And this week it's with the big boys. It's Microsoft's Flight Simulator 5. 5? Yes, definitely Flight Simulator 5. Thought it was 4, but it's definitely 5. There you go. Quite an impressive size box. They do get smaller later on. But yeah, I was quite impressed with that one. As well as the box, you get the usual Microsoft diskette wallet with a couple of floppies. I know, 2 floppies. Amazing. And you actually get a very comprehensively thick manual, which I've obviously never read. But it's quite handy, so it's got all the keys on the back, which I didn't read, which is about normal. And also, yeah, quite a fairly hefty license agreement. And you know, there seems to be a lot of blank pages. So. Oh yeah. Lots and lots of stuff in there which no one will ever read. And the usual, get the Microsoft bump about all the offices and something from. So yeah, there we go. That's the box. Time to have a look at the game. So I'm actually running the game through an MS-DOS emulator called 86Box. Which is designed for Apple Silicon devices. Now I got the setup guide from my good friend Rich over at Rich's Random Retro Reviews, and I'll put a link below so you can try your own if you've got an Apple Silicon device. So CD games, CD Flitsum, FS5. Okay, there we go. Now I think mine was slightly different at the time. I don't remember that Microsoft Home thing pop up. Basically, I do have the, obviously, as you see, I do have the box version of it. So I just downloaded some of the classic files. Saved me sticking a floppy drive on an emulator, which gets a bit messy. Yeah, one of the joys of this version is I don't seem to have a cache setup, and I don't think it matters too much. The performance of the Mac Mini and the M2 processor is probably going to get around any issues with cache. So there we go. We open up the game. Just going to turn the volume down a little bit because it's a little bit too loud. Don't need to be overpowering. Yeah, it doesn't look vastly different from the Amiga version, I don't think. Graphics, they've gone for the sort of realism look, which was sort of quite popular back in the day, and they tried to make it as realistic as possible, I guess. So whether it's photorealistic, I don't know. But yeah, it's on a lower resolution screen. It's not great. So the first thing I'll do is put some flaps down. Actually, I'll go into spot mode views. Set spot plane. Annoyingly, you seem to have to do this every time it restarts. If I remember right, there was almost like a config file you could save to pick some of these things up. So yeah, so I much prefer the spot plane to track. But yeah, it's quite a narrow screen. It's quite a narrow screen view. So let's go back inside. And the textures on the runway. I don't think they look great close up. I mean, yeah, it's a bit nitpicking because at the time it was probably quite a good thing. So brakes off. Now I think it's right click of the mouse button, and then left or right. I think is it? Oh, no, is it left or right? Ah, yes. So you then press the left click of the mouse button to release the brakes. Now to use the throttle, I think you press the left again and push forward. Oops, I'm going all over the place today. Yeah, I've got the unfortunately I've got the flight controls and the rudder linked. There was a way to unlink them. I can't remember where it was. I could read the manual, but that's just going a bit silly. That sort of thing's not going to happen. So get some good speed. Oh, you can see it's trying to take off, and gear up. Now they've taken off, obviously, a lot of the flight simulators, the early ones, took off from Chicago, was it Chicago Meigs Field? The one that was loved by everybody in flight sim. It was a sort of little airport which I believe somebody bought and then over a weekend decided to dig big holes into the runway and destroy it, which is not nice. So get a bit of take the flaps off. It does say F and N to adjust the flaps. It doesn't seem to want to do it. Oops. I did find on my initial testing of the game it to be quite twitchy. I don't recall back in the day it being so bad. It seems to be very, very easy to stall and crash. So whether that's realistic, I don't know. So I'm just going to try and go around this one building on the left hand side, right hand side even, and then sort of head back to the runway. And I've not got a vast amount of altitude, so I'll just do a slow turn in between these the buildings. So yeah, I don't think the ground textures add much to the gameplay. It's I guess it's something they did to make it look better than it was. Oh yeah, but I need to turn, otherwise this flight sim journey is going to be very short. So oops, it seems to be very, very twitchy. Now that might be getting down to the mouse control, because it was a little bit fiddly to do. I think that's the runway. Yeah, my god, this is one hell of a bad approach. I'll put some flaps down. Oops. The problem is you have to switch from one control method to another. And oh no, that's not the runway. Ah, that's the runway, I think. Oh no, that is the runway. It just seemed to wobble a bit. So yeah. This is probably the worst approach I think you've ever seen. But I'm going to try and sort of land it like I did with the Sinclair flight sims. And I think this is not going to be a very successful landing. Whoa! And yeah, there we go. It said it was quite fiddly. It seems to be very, very sensitive. Now, whether this is because I'm using the mouse by a VM and the VM doesn't quite work with the mouse so well. But let's have a quick look. So obviously they got the spot plane, so you can zoom in from the control tower, or you can zoom in via there. Now you've got the option to, with this version, I think like a lot of versions, you can actually remove the control panel, so all the controls themselves. I think, can you view that? Okay, so look, view, go for view 2. Does view 2 have a separate window? Yeah, it's quite glitchy. Is this version, and I think that might be down to emulation. Now I emulated the PC as best as I can. At the time, I think I had a 486 DX 4100. Whereas this one, I'll just go into the settings on here on the actual application. So I've gone for a Pentium 200, so it's probably a little bit better than it was previously. Oops, but yeah. So yeah, its display is again just S3, basic VGA at the time. Input devices normal. Network can't be bothered with. Storage controller, hard disks. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a 4. Not 4 meg. I can't remember what the size it was, but again, there's enough capacity, more than enough. So, but yeah, there you go. That's Flight Sim 5 for the PC. Yeah, as I said, it's I don't think it moved on much from the Amiga version, if I say so myself. But yeah, there we go. The graphical glitches I think are definitely down to the emulation rather than the actual application itself. It could be that the S3 chipset isn't brilliant. I did have a quick look at Doom running on it, and it seemed to be reasonably okay. But yeah, but there you go. That's Flight Sim 5. Is it an improvement on Flight Sim 2 for the Amiga? It's hard to say. Graphically, it looks a bit better, but yeah, I'm not sure myself. So there you go, that was Flight Simulator 5 for the MS-DOS PC. Now, I will have to correct myself. I did say that I didn't think it looked much different from the Amiga version. Yeah, see what you think. Look at now, and yeah, obviously textures. I think the textured sky and the texture of the runway is better on the PC, but I don't think the textured ground really helps. It seems to be a bit messy. Maybe if you had a better graphics card or bigger monitor or better resolution, it might have improved things. But I don't think it. I personally don't think it looked that great. But there you go. It was what they could do at the time. So I think they just decided to stick textures on and to make it look better. Anyway, so that's the end for this one, and now hopefully I'll be moving on to possibly Flight Sim. I think it might be 2000. I can't remember if there was a one in between. I'm not sure if there's a 98 version. There might have been. I can't remember off the top of my head if I've got a box of it up there. But yeah, there we go. There is something else I want to look at as well, which is a sort of a supplement, a sort of package that it doesn't work with Flight Simulator, but it sort of helps you with Flight Simulator. Bit of mystery, I know. I'm not sure when I'll bring that in. Maybe before the next episode, but we'll wait and see. Anyway, if you like what I do, please like, comment and subscribe. And I hope to see you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.